what we're gonna do today, I thought it would be really fun to do a Barbie makeup tutorial, but not any Barbie, because modern Barbie bores me. So I thought, who are fun characters whose bright yellow hair I like? And I thought vintage Barbie could inspire us today, no? So she's got these like quite high painted on brows, this crazy black eyeliner, which is like crazy over exaggerated, and blue shadow, and of course bright red lips. And she's got that like really overly exaggerated Cupid's bow lip, where it's whiter on the top lip and then like a smaller little Cupid's bow on the bottom. And so I thought we'd use that as our inspiration today. She's got a huge space here between her lid and her brow. So I'm gonna cover my natural brow. I've got my trusty glue stick here. Just pick it up at any craft store, Target, Kmart, anywhere. And what I'm gonna do, so I'm gonna go over, obviously it's a clear one. I'm gonna go over my brows, going both directions, get them nicely coated. And then I'm gonna grab one of my wands, nothing on that guy, and I'm just gonna brush my natural brows right up, flat into my skin. Okay, so I'm going to be using the shadows. I'm gonna use Snow, and I'm gonna use that for my highlighting, because she's got quite highlighted planes like on the cheeks. Obviously I don't look anything like Barbie, but who cares? We're gonna have fun. Okay, so I'm gonna use Candlelight. That's gonna be mostly my base color. Toasted Rose as my contouring color. And I'm gonna use the Caribbean Blue. That's gonna be for the eyes. And I'm also gonna use Onyx for the eyes. I'm also gonna use the Cherry Blush. I'm gonna use the Blue Red for my lip color. And I'm gonna use Glossy Gloss afterward. I might use a tiny bit of this Pink Posy as well. So I'm gonna be using a lot of colors, but I'll walk you through them as I use them as well. I'm gonna use Cherry. Cherry is very red, and I'm using it in the same way that you would use a red or an orange color to start covering up a tattoo or covering up stubble on a face, because my brows are darker. So I'm gonna go over them. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna give a warmer tone rather than a cool, dark brown tone. And it's gonna look amazing. Okay. I'm gonna put that on, I'm gonna let it dry, because with these blushes and shadows, you know that they go on as a liquid, but they dry to a cream, kind of set finish. So you wanna make sure you allow things to dry before you put on the next layer, otherwise they blend together. So I'm just gonna go over this. I'm so beautiful, I should totally stop now. This is so great. I'm gonna use some of this Snow. All right, so I'm gonna go in here. I'm gonna highlight down her nose, right? Because we're gonna look and see where she's got her high planes on her face. And I'm gonna do the chin as well, while that cherry is drying, and a little bit around the corners of the mouth. Okay. And across the forehead as well. So I'm gonna go in all around that with my Candlelight. I feel like I have war paint on for an amazing Amazon tribe. I'm gonna just buff this all in. All right, so I'm just blending these all together. I'm blending these bits into the corners of my mouth. And you will want to work like reasonably quickly with these, because as we all know, they sort of set after a period of time. And that's just gonna be my, See how it's like really smooth, full coverage, which is obviously what we're going for because Barbie is a doll. And now I'm gonna take my candlelight. I'm just gonna pop some on my finger. And quite heavily just go through and tap it on. Okay, a little bit of snow as well because I really want to lighten that up. Now I'm just gonna grab some of my natural translucent powder. My big brush. And I'm gonna use a larger blending brush. This is an eye shader Bobbi Brown Essentials one. Yeah. Just to help it set. Gonna tap that powder over the top of what I've done. So I'm gonna use this really fine brush and we're gonna use that to do a new brow higher up. So just a reminder, we're doing this quite high. She's got this sort of quite high long brow and then it just has a tail at the end so it doesn't have an arch like I would do my arch. So I'm using a little bit of that pink posy. And I'm gonna put like just a dab of the garnet in that, I think, as well. So I can make it slightly darker. So her brow actually starts a little bit further in than the corner of the eye. It starts a little bit further in. So I'm just gonna map it out. It's gonna start probably right about here. You see that? That little dot that I've made? And I'll do one over here. So it's starting kind of right about there. And it's quite rounded in the front, rather than like squared off. And then it's gonna go, I'm gonna make it right about like that. And then I'm gonna do a little tail in the end like that. So I'm just gonna make a guide before I start to fill them in for the general shape of them, right? So we'll do the same thing on this side. Nice and rounded. Straight to the end here. And then just a little tail. And if it's not perfect, you can go clean it up later. Because you know how I feel about perfect. It's overrated and it takes too long. So, what I'm also gonna take is I'm gonna take a little bit of this toasted rose. And I'm gonna use that as my contouring color. See how she's got sort of a contour here to give that illusion that she's got a really deep set eye socket. So we're gonna go in there slightly, and then I'm also gonna use the same color to do the cheeks and the chin and all of that, yeah? Yeah? Yeah. So I got a little bit of that on my hand, and I'm just using a slightly rounded shadow brush. And it's gonna be kind of right about here to make it look like I've got that much more deep set. And I'm gonna bring it all the way in to the side of the nose, because I'm also going to, I'm not gonna make it too dark, I'm also going to just do the sides of my nose here to make it look more narrow, because she's got that tiny, skinny little upturned button nose. So we're just going to right down the sides, make it look a little bit more narrow. And I'm gonna do the tip here as well to make it look slightly more rounded. I'm gonna do a little bit on the sides right here as well, just to make it a little bit more shadowed, because I'm a doll. I'm gonna use this eye contour brush, and I'm gonna use a little bit of that same color for my cheek contour. She doesn't actually have a lot in the way of blush. I'm gonna go down with that under here as well, just to kind of create more of a shadow. I'm gonna use that same color to do under my jawline to give me a little bit more of a, she's got quite a tapered in jawline, and she doesn't have extra chins, so we're just gonna get rid of that. I'm gonna use the same color and that same brush, and I'm gonna come under here, and I'm gonna do a little bit just underneath to give a shadow right under my lip, and it's going to make it look like that bottom lip is really full and it's casting a little bit of a shadow just there. Snow, the white color, just in the middle here to highlight. You know, if I was using a normal highlighter, like if I was doing like a normal makeup look, I would most likely use something that had a shimmer to it. So I'd probably use something like the, you know, like the pearlizer. But since I'm going for a dull sort of look where it's really matte and plasticky looking, I don't want to use anything shimmery, so I'm actually not using anything with a shine at the moment. I'm just using colors, darks and lights to create shapes, but I don't actually want to use anything that's going to bounce light back. Okay, I've got the onyx here, and I'm going to use a pretty small detail brush just so that I can be precise with the shape. Yeah? Okay, so I'll start with one eye. And it's really important with these guys, if you're gonna be layering colors like I'm gonna be doing, so I'm gonna do the black first, and then I'm gonna do the blue over the top, but I'm gonna let it fully dry. Because again, I want to get this effect where we have this black, and then we have that stripe of blue over the top, but I don't want them to blend together, okay? Okay, so we're gonna start on this eye. I have done my lid. I'm continuing to come up. It's quite big, and it's like a half circle shape that we're doing. So I think that's about right. I think I'm happy with that. It's gonna make those eyes look real big. But I'm using a very fine liner brush just because I want to be as precise as I can with my lines. And we'll do the other side. Okay, so I'm gonna go all the way in the inner corner here. And I'm going all the way to my lash line. Now, the next bit we're gonna do is the blue part, which is her eyeshadow. So this is meant to be her eyeliner, right? This is why we needed all this extra eye to be able to get this stuff done. Okay, so next up we've got this blue shadow coming up. And I'm going to, next up I have some snow. And I'm gonna put it just above the black bit. So I've done a line of white, and I'm gonna let that dry, and I'm gonna go back over it with the blue so that the blue pops a little bit more. Okay, so we're just going over this line, just above the black. I'm trying not to muck up what I did before. I'm gonna let this dry, and now I'm gonna grab the Caribbean, and I'm gonna mix a little bit of that with the snow to get a lighter blue. Yeah, that'll be good. Oh, that'll be great. Okay, cool. See, I'm just mixing them together to get a brighter blue. Okay, so I'm gonna go over the white with the blue. That's just gonna make that blue pop a little bit more than it would if I was putting it on the nude. Okay, so I'm gonna make a little bit more of this blue. I'm gonna make it a little bit darker than the blue that I did up top, but I'm still mixing the Caribbean with the snow. I'm just using that same liner brush to go under the eye. I'm gonna grab my onyx, and I'm just gonna touch up the little bits where I got blue over the parts that I wanted to keep black. I'm gonna go in here. I'm gonna do my waterline. with snow just to make that inner part of my eye pop just that little bit more. All right, so I've just done a little bit of extra white in the inside of my waterline there. That's the snow. So I'm just putting a little bit of that pink mixture just above where I did the contouring. She's got a slight blush in the bottom half of the cheek. Right here again. And that's cherry mixed with toasted rose. And I'm blending that just above. All right, I'm gonna take a little bit of snow and I'm gonna use it to highlight the brow. Just to give it a little bit more definition. Okay, there we go. So I've got a little bit of a highlight there. Higher than my own, obviously, because we're doing a very exaggerated lip. So I'm just gonna do a line. I'm using that same liner brush we were using before. Hi, Ree! And I'm gonna come down. It's quite angular, and it comes out much further than the corner of the lip. Okay, now for the bottom lip, it's smaller than the top lip. And it goes much lower. Probably right about there. So I'm just gonna connect the top and the bottom lip like hers are. So I think I'm gonna use the wand now and just follow the line. Give it a good shake of what I've done for my shape. So we'll put our first layer on. We're gonna put 3 layers of this on. So we're gonna put a second coat on. Last coat. Now, what I'm gonna do is, like I did when I did the pop art one, but slightly less dramatic, I'm gonna do a highlight. See how she has like a highlight down low on her lip? I'm gonna do a highlight with snow. And I'm gonna seal it in afterward. I'm gonna seal it in with icicle, which is the clear color, okay? So I got a little bit of snow, and this is the Shadow Sense. Yeah, that's pretty good. Feeling in the icicle. So this is just the clear lit sense, no pigment, just the, that's that. I'll wait for that to dry, and then I'll put my gloss on top. I'm gonna use the Glossy Gloss. So there we go. So that's our Barbie inspired, our 1950s yellow-haired Barbie inspired makeup tutorial. I hope you all really enjoyed it. I hope that if you decide you want to try something like this, that you will please take photos and tag me, because I would love to see what you guys do. It's really, really fun. And feel free to follow me on the Facebooks or the YouTubes or the whatevers. And I'll see you later.